What if the sound of counting plates was the last thing you ever heard? In an old mansion in Japan, the restless spirit of Okiku, a servant wronged by a cruel master, counts the plates every night, her eerie wail a warning to all who dare enter. When a young couple buys the mansion, they dismiss the stories, unaware that the vengeful spirit is still bound to the house. But when Hana hears the haunting cry and finds the plates arranged perfectly, they soon discover that some legends are far too real to ignore. Kei and Hana had always dreamed of owning a beautiful home, and when they stumbled upon an old mansion in the outskirts of Kyoto, it seemed perfect. The mansion was grand but weathered, standing in the middle of the countryside surrounded by ancient trees. Despite its abandoned state, it had a charm that captivated them. The price was right, and they couldn't resist the idea of restoring it to its former glory. But the moment they stepped inside, a strange energy filled the air. The mansion, although large, felt suffocating, as though it had been holding its breath for decades. The walls were adorned with faded tapestries, and the wooden floors creaked underfoot, as though the house itself was alive and reacting to their presence. As they moved through the dusty rooms, they couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching them, lingering in the shadows. At night, Hana began to hear strange sounds, soft whispers carried on the wind. It started faintly, barely noticeable, but soon became impossible to ignore. Then, she began hearing the unmistakable sound of plates being counted. 1, 2, 3, 10. The counting was slow and methodical, echoing through the halls as if the plates themselves were calling out to her. Kei, always the skeptic, dismissed it as the house settling, but the eerie sounds continued, growing louder each night, and Hana's unease deepened. What was causing the noise, and why did it seem so deliberate, as if someone or something was waiting for them to listen? If you moved into an old, beautiful mansion and began hearing strange noises at night, would you try to find the source, or ignore it and hope it goes away? One evening, as the sounds of counting grew louder, Hana couldn't stand it any longer. She decided to investigate the source of the strange noise. The house was unnervingly silent when she entered the dining room. To her shock, the plates in the old china cabinet had been arranged in perfect order. Exactly 10 plates, as if someone had placed them there recently. Hana was confused. She was sure she had left them scattered across the table that morning. Her curiosity was piqued, and that night, as the wailing cries and the counting started again, Hana could no longer dismiss the eerie coincidence. She remembered something from her childhood, an old tale her grandmother had told her about a servant named Okiku, who had worked in a mansion much like theirs. The story had always seemed like a myth, something to frighten children. According to the legend, Okiku had been a servant in the mansion of a cruel samurai. He had entrusted her with 10 valuable plates, and one day, he accused her of losing one. Despite her protests of innocence, the samurai punished her by throwing her into a well to drown. Her anguished spirit, tormented by injustice, returned to the mansion to count the plates every night. The sound of her counting and her mournful wails had become a warning to those who lived there. Hana was horrified. Could the spirit of Okiku be haunting their new home? As the days passed, the atmosphere in the mansion grew heavier. Hana couldn't shake the feeling that Okiku's restless spirit was still present. Each night, the counting grew louder, more frantic. Hana began having nightmares, visions of Okiku's anguished face, her hollow eyes, and the haunting wail that echoed through the halls of the mansion. The ghostly figure seemed to appear in her dreams, counting the plates with an unblinking gaze. One night, Hana woke to find Kei gone. She searched the house frantically, calling his name, but there was no answer. As she made her way down the dark hallway, the sound of the plates being counted reached her ears. The cold air seemed to bite at her skin, and the whispers of the house grew louder, like the walls themselves were alive with the voices of the past. When she finally found Kei, he was standing motionless in the dining room, his face pale and expressionless. In front of him, the plates were arranged in perfect order, 10 plates. He didn't move when Hana approached him, as though he were in some kind of trance. It was then that she realized the truth. The house was not just haunted by Okiku's spirit. The mansion itself had become a prison for her, and now it was trying to claim them too. Desperate for answers, Hana turned to the village elders for help. They told her the full tale of Okiku, revealing that the curse could only be broken by acknowledging her wrongful death and returning the lost plate to its rightful place. The elders told Hana that the only way to end Okiku's curse was to find the missing plate. the plate that had been hidden to frame Okiku for the loss, and return it to the well where she had died. The plate was the key to breaking the endless cycle of torment that bound Okiku's spirit to the mansion. But the task was easier said than done. Kei and Hana ventured into the mansion's dark cellar, where the hidden well lay. The air in the cellar was thick with dust, and the sound of dripping water echoed off the stone walls. As they approached the well, Hana's breath caught in her throat. The well looked just as it had in her nightmares, the same one where Okiku had met her tragic end. They knelt beside it, and Hana reached into the dark, damp depths. Her hand brushed something cold and smooth. She pulled it up and found a single ceremonial plate, one that matched the description the elders had given her. This was it, the lost plate. But as she held it, a sudden chill washed over her. The wails of Okiku's ghost echoed around them, growing louder and more anguished. Suddenly, a hand shot up from the well, cold and skeletal, grabbing Hana's wrist. Kei tried to pull her away, but the grip was unyielding. Hana screamed as the coldness of the well seeped into her bones, and she saw the shadow of Okiku emerging from the depths. Her face was hollow, her eyes dark and filled with torment. "You must release me," Okiku's voice whispered as the wind howled around them. If you were faced with the ghost of someone wronged in life, would you try to make amends? Or would the fear of the unknown prevent you from acting? The wind howled as Hana held the plate, her grip tightening on the cold porcelain. The spirit of Okiku emerged fully from the depths of the well, her form now solid and terrifying, her face twisted in eternal grief. Hana could feel the spirit's sorrow, but also the immense anger that had kept Okiku bound to the mansion for so long. "We must restore what was taken," the spirit whispered, her voice breaking with centuries of anguish. "I was wronged. My soul cannot rest until the plate is returned, and my name cleared." Kei, seeing the spirit's torment, stepped forward and placed the plate gently at the edge of the well. "Okiku, your honor has been restored," he said softly. "You are free." As soon as the plate touched the stone, the air grew still, the wailing cries ceased, and the oppressive atmosphere lifted. The mansion seemed to breathe a collective sigh of relief. The spirit of Okiku, her features now calm and peaceful, bowed her head in gratitude. For the first time in centuries, her soul was free. Hana and Kei stood in the silence, their hearts heavy with the weight of what had transpired. They had broken the curse, but the journey had changed them forever. As they left the mansion, the once foreboding house now felt peaceful, as if it had finally found its rest. But as they stepped outside, Hana couldn't shake the feeling that Okiku's presence lingered in the quiet night air, a reminder that some spirits never truly leave. Thank you for joining Hana and Kei on their journey to break the curse of Okiku's plate. If you were faced with the haunting of a vengeful spirit, would you have the courage to confront the past and restore their honor, or would you flee from the danger it brings? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If this eerie tale left you questioning the power of ancient curses, remember to like, share, and subscribe to Dare to Listen. Sometimes, the past demands to be heard, and the dead never forget.